Hey everyone, this is Zach, and today we got news on the Pokemon Presents coming on the 27th at 9 o'clock Eastern Time, which unfortunately I'll be at work, so I'll have to react or give my opinions later in the day. So keep an eye out for that when Monday comes around. But we also have our next 7-star Terra raid, which is going to be Water Terra Pikachu. Really interesting that it is only 1 week. This is the first 7-star raid that hasn't been 2 weeks, and I think that's because the following week we'll probably see Mewtwo come up as well. So that's kind of cool. That is going to be an action-packed end of the month for 7-star raids. And so today I kind of wanted to look at what I think we'll see from Pikachu and what are some quick thoughts of counters. I do suggest that you wait for other people like Pokemon Cast to take a deeper dive into what mons they think will be the best. But just at a quick look, I'm going to give you 4 mons that I think are going to be good brings for the Water Terra Pikachu. If you guys enjoy this content, do not forget to like and subscribe, but let's jump right into it. First off, here is the Pikachu set, and the real question we have to ask ourselves is, will this Pikachu have Light Ball? For those of you who don't know, Light Ball is an item that only works for Pikachu, and it doubles its attack and special attack. So if you're looking at the stats right up here, its attack will actually be 110 and its special attack will actually be 100. So it can actually pack a punch with the Light Ball. I do think that this will be the first 7-star Terra raid with an item. We will see the Pikachu with the item itself. And of course, it's going to have its hidden ability, Lightning Rod. Now, what does Lightning Rod do? It makes it immune to electric type attacks, and also gives it a +1 in special attack when it gets hit with an electric type move. So if you think you can just bring an electric type Pokemon to take on this Water Terra type, you would be wrong. Please don't do that. Don't do that. But anyways, Pikachu gets a decent amount of move coverage, and I think after seeing that Greninja was a mix attacker, being a serious nature, we'll probably see something along those lines as well with a mixed set Pikachu. So its physical moves are Volt Tackle, Nuzzle, and Iron Tail. I think those are going to be the 3 realistic physical moves, with special being Thunder, Thunderbolt, Surf, and Grass Knot. Surfing Pikachu has been a thing since Pokemon Yellow. They gave away Flying Pikachu with the early purchase of the game. If you purchase the game, you could redeem a Flying Pikachu, Flying Terra Pikachu. So I'd have to say that this one, being a Water Terra, definitely has Surf. It'd be foolish not to, having Terra Blast over Surf. Surf actually does more damage. And then Grass Knot. Pikachu gets access to Grass Knot, so this Water Terra is actually pretty good here. If you try to lead things like Gastrodon, the Grass Knot could be really good, and it's usually a check to ground type Pokemon with Surf and Grass Knot hitting ground types really well that Pikachu would have a harder time dealing with if it didn't have access to those 2 moves. For the status, you're going to see things like Rain Dance, Nasty Plot, and Double Team. It does also have access to screens with Light Screen and Reflect, and then it has access to Agility. I don't think we'll see Agility. I think that Double Team would make the Terra raid a little more difficult. We saw that on Greninja as well. I don't know if we'll see Nasty Plot if it's a mix set, but I do think we'll see Rain Dance, because Rain Dance will make Thunder 100% accurate and also boost Surf. So I do think Rain Dance might be that move that Pikachu uses right off the rip at the beginning of the battle, the turn 0 move, some would say. That, or it would be Nuzzle to paralyze the Pokemon. So down here, I have a prediction on what I think the main moves are going to be. I think it's going to be Thunderbolt, Surf, Grass Knot, and Iron Tail. I think those are going to be its 4 moves. And the reason why I think that is because if you look at the previous 7-star Terra raids, the 4 moves that it came with when you captured it, the 4 moves that were the moves that it used the most, were all different type moves. So I think we're not going to see something like Thunder and Thunderbolt being on the main set of moves. I think if it's going to be a turn 1 Rain Dance, we might see Thunder, over Thunderbolt, but time will tell. I think for its secondary moves, we'll see Rain Dance, Double Team, Nuzzle, and Volt Tackle. These ones, we haven't seen more than 4 moves. We saw 4 moves on Charizard, we saw 1 additional move on Cinderace, and then we saw 2 additional moves on Greninja. But it's not out of the realm that you could see 4 moves. I think those would be Rain Dance, Double Team, Nuzzle, and Volt Tackle. I think if it does do Rain Dance, it will have Thunder over Thunderbolt. So it's a toss-up. So I think any of these moves are realistic to see on Pikachu. I don't know if we'll see any setup like Nasty Plot with it being a mix set, but I do think we'll see Double Team because, like I said, the evasion boost can be annoying if you aren't equipped to handle it. Speaking of being equipped, let's take a look at what mons I think will be good for getting good damage and supporting as well. Okay, if we go over to Showdown, I have my 4 moves that I think, and then the 4 moves that I think it could be capable of. I do have Nasty Plot on here, but I think it's more realistic to see something like Thunder over Thunderbolt and seeing something like Volt Tackle in these additional move slots. I don't think Volt Tackle will be its main electric type move because of the recoil. Even though it's one of Pikachu's signature moves, we didn't see Water Shuriken on Greninja because of its damage rolls, making it inaccurate, which could make it easier to beat. But let's talk about some of the mons I think will be good for it. The first one is going to be Florges. For Florges, the only thing you really have to worry about is Iron Tail, which is why I suggest going to 20 HP. That makes it an even recovery on leftovers with its HP value. I think you should max out defense so you take those Iron Tails a little better, and then invest just a little bit into special attack and one point into special defense for EVs. If you look at the damage counter, Giga Drain is going to do 100 to 119%. So basically you will recover half of the damage that Iron Tail is going to do to you every time you hit a Giga Drain. And I think that's going to be really good. And when we look at these are pretty high numbers. So I don't know if Florges is going to be a good pick, but this is also Pikachu. All of these calcs are done with Pikachu with the Iron Ball. So if we, for example, are the Light Ball, not the Iron Ball. So if we take away the Light Ball and just put a Lychee Berry, these aren't doing much. So I do think, I think we're gonna see Light Ball on Pikachu. So I've done all my calcs to factor in the fact that Pikachu would be holding Light Ball. So the really only thing you have to worry about is Iron Tail. Surf does a decent amount, Thunderbolt does a decent amount. Thunder's gonna hit even harder if that's the case. Thunder will hit about 30%, but you can get that recovery back. You can get a lot of that damage back with Giga Drain. So Giga Drain is going to be the main move that you're clicking, and then with the leftovers you get even additional recovery. The reason why I suggest Florges is because of Flower Veil. What Flower Veil does is that grass types on your side cannot have their stats lowered or be inflicted by status. And I think that would be really good for Pikachu because Pikachu's Thunderbolts and Thunders have a high percentage for paralysis. And I also think that Pikachu's going to carry Nuzzle. So if you can have Florges on the field, Terra Grass to get rid of that Steel type weakness, once you get high enough, you will be able to protect your grass type members with Flower Veil to keep them from being paralyzed. And most of the picks that I have here are grass type because you can't use the electric type to hit water because of Lightning Rod. For the last 2 moves, I have Synthesis for healing, and then I have Light Screen to deal with those Thunderbolts that surf and all that stuff. Good support. You could also go Calm Mind, but Light Screen supports the whole team. If you are worried about the attack stat from Iron Tail, you could go Chilling Water. That's going to be neutral damage. But I think Moonblast and Energy Ball will be could be good main attacking moves, and then you could have a screen or a support move. Let's see if there's any other good support moves. Could go Charm, but Charm isn't going to work once the shield is up. Or you could go Helping Hand. Or does this thing get Heal Pulse? No. So yeah, my first one is Florges. I think Flower Veil would be very useful so you don't have to deal with paralysis, because if you stack on paralysis plus evasion boost, and Pikachu could become very challenging if those two things happen. So Flower Veil will help protect your grass type Pokemon from paralysis. Next up is Appletun. So Appletun, you could just invest in HP, defense, and special defense, and having a Guava Berry with Ripen. What Ripen does is that it doubles the effect of berries. So instead of getting 1/3 health, you get 2/3 health, basically almost bringing you back up to full. Recycle can bring that berry back the turn after you use it. And then you could go Iron Defense, Body Press. Looking into this though, I don't think that the setup in this form is good for Appletun, because if you want to do the most with Body Press, you have to click Iron Defense 3 times, and I think other sets will be better. Some other moves that Appletun has access to are things like Giga Drain, Light Screen, Reflect, and Sweet Scent. Sweet Scent could be there to deal with the double team, but it does not go through shields because it is a status move. So keep that in mind, that if Pikachu does do a double team, you want to click Sweet Scent before that shield goes up. And I think Terra Grass will be the best to take advantage of the moves, Giga Drain and Apple Acid. And so when we look at the calcs for this, Apple Acid is doing anywhere between 270 to 318 damage right off the rip, and that's before the special attack drops. Giga Drain is going to do a little bit less, but also giving you recovery anywhere between 125 to 150 HP points, which is a quarter of Appletun's health, if not more. And so with Apple Acid, if you are dropping the special defense, if you drop it by 1, you're already doing 400 to 480 damage with the next Apple Acid. And there is a combination that I think could be really good for a turn 1 play to make Pikachu really weak and do a lot of damage quickly. None of these mons are going to be a sweep like the Slowbro or the Belly Drum Azumarill, but I think just having these support moves with chip over time is really good. So with Body Press, you see here at full defense investment, you're only going to be doing anywhere between 140 to 166 damage. Now, if you Iron Defense 3 times and get to +6, you're doing between 561 and 660. But here's the thing, if you click Apple Acid once, you're doing 150. If you click it again, oh, that was special attack. If you click it once, you're doing at least 200%, like you're doing at least 200% damage, 400 to 480, which is just 100 to 200 less. Second time you click it, the third Apple Acid is going to be doing just as much as Body Press, and you don't have to click Iron Defense 3 times. So I think for this raid, I don't think the Body Press is going to be good. You might want to have Iron Defense so you take those Iron Tails a little better. But with Appletun's natural bulk, if you're investing in defense, this isn't going to do a lot, especially if it doesn't have Light Ball. Remember, these calcs are with Light Ball. So with the Dragon typing, you still take Thunderbolt, Surf, and Grass Knot really well. So I think you don't have to go Terra Grass. I think you could go Terra Dragon. And if you Terrasilize, it's not going to change the calcs that much. The set I want to go for Appletun is Apple Acid, Giga Drain. Keep that a Guava Berry and Ripen and have Recycle, so you can recycle those berries. If you don't want to do that, you can go Growth. You can go recover, I believe you get recover. Yes, you do get recover, so you could do the recover over the recycle. But there is also growth, which raises your attack and your special attack, and there was another option for a support move. You do get light screen and reflect with Appleton, so you could do that as well. Oh, sweet scent. So instead of doing growth, because Apple Acid is going to stack those special defense drops really well, you could go sweet scent for the evasion, which I think sweet scents might be a good tech, especially if you plan on trying to solo it. Next up is Clodsire. Clodsire was a really good mon in the Greninja raids because of water absorb. So with its ground typing, you're not going to take any damage from electric type moves. You're not going to take any water damage with water absorb, and that just basically leads Iron Tail and Grass Knot. Now Grass Knot is neutral and so is Iron Tail, but if you invest in just a little bit in special defense, and you can even bring this down you can bring the special attack down even more and invest more into defense. But I think a Bold Nature is just enough. We'll look at the calcs in a minute. But I think Acid Spray and Sludge Bomb is really all you need to hit it hard. It does get Trailblaze, I believe. It does get Trailblaze, but then you're not benefiting from the Acid Spray special defense drops. So if we look at the Clodsire calcs, we can see that Clodsire is going to be more of a defensive mon and a supportive mon, and Grass Knot and Thunderbolt is doing 20 to 30 damage. So you are getting recovery with Black Sludge, and so these moves are all 4 and 5 hit KOs. So you have lots of time, like you have time to attack and still click recover, or you could carry Haze to deal with a potential double team. So that's really what I'm recommending is Acid Spray, Sludge Bomb, Haze, and Recover. And here's the thing. Sludge Bomb drops special defense by 2. Apple Acid drops it by 1. So if Clodsire and Appleton on turn 1 click Acid Spray and Apple Acid, that next time Pikachu's at -3, which means that Apple Acid itself is doing 647 to almost 800 damage. Insane amount. Not to mention Florges here at -3. Not that much, but it's still 532 damage to 600. Whole lot of damage. And so I think stacking Apple Acid with Acid Spray is really good, especially when those shields are up. We've seen that special attacking mons do better in these Terra raids because there are very reliable ways to drop the special attack and deal damage, because those attack drops are secondary effects, so they go through the shield. So when Pikachu has its shield up, you can still click Apple Acid, you can still click Acid Spray, do that chip damage, and then drop its special attack, which will help you out getting that shield down quickly. So my last mon I want to suggest is Arboliva. Do you believe in Arboliva? So with Arboliva here, it is kind of our main attacker. So we'll take a look at the damage calcs, but once again, Giga Drain is going to give you reliable recovery and damage. You can do growth to boost your damage output, Pollen Puff to support your teammates if you want to heal them or if you want to do just a little bit of damage to Pikachu. But if you're using Pollen Puff, it's probably solely as a recovery move. And then Synthesis to help recover yourself. Because we have the Synthesis and the Giga Drain, I think that Miracle Seed would be really good to boost Arboliva's attack. Arboliva would end up being the main attacker out of these 4 Pokemon. Seed Sower is going to bring up grassy terrain every time it's hit with an attack. Unfortunately, the downside of that is that it heals Pikachu as well, but this is also going to provide yourself and your team little bits of recovery throughout the battle. If we look at Arboliva here, right off the rip, we see that Thunderbolt, Iron Tail, Surf, they're doing decent damage with Thunderbolt and Iron Tail, doing 14 to 17% damage. Iron Tail doing about 25 to 30, but that is with a bold nature. So I think you should go bold. That way you don't have to invest as much, and you can always invest more to bring that Iron Tail damage down. But with Giga Drain, you're going to be doing a decent amount. Not to mention, if you go after the Acid Spray and the Apple Acid and Pikachu's at -3, you're doing 500% damage. Like, you're doing thousands. You're doing thousands of damage, and that's if you just wait until Clodsire and Appleton attack first. Not to mention, if you want to do that, like turn 1, you could just click Growth while they do Acid Spray and Apple Acid, and you're doing insane damage at that point. So I think this is the way to go. And this is what leftovers. This isn't even with Miracle Seed. So with Miracle Seed, like Iron Tail is still a 4-hit KO, and that's not even factoring in that once it gets hit once, Grassy Terrain will go up and you'll get more recovery. Giga Drain is going to give you recovery. So if you click Growth, get a +1, have the Miracle Seed, and you wait until after the first Armor Acid and Apple Spray, or Apple Acid, you're doing great damage. Great damage. I think Grass types are the play, because Florges is going to support them, so you don't have to worry about them getting paralyzed. Clodsire can have Haze to get rid of a double team boost. You could also do the same thing with Sweet Scent on Appleton, and Arboliva is going to be your damage dealer. But we'll have to wait to see. Maybe someone like Pokemon Cast or Austin John Plays will come up with a quicker or better setup. They're definitely going to take a deeper dive than I am, so make sure you check them out when they have theirs. But let me know in the comments down below which Pokemon you plan on bringing for Pikachu. Are you excited for Pokemon Day? What are your predictions for that? Let me know all these things in the comments down below. Do you think these calls are on the right track? Let me know. Anyways, that's going to be all. Until next time, I'm Zach, and we'll see everyone later.